Okay, hi guys, and welcome to today's show. Today we got so much to get through, a whole bunch of fantastic new straps, one of which I am testing out as we speak. This is on my, I should do a wristwatch check. I'll do a wristwatch check real quick. This is my Navi timer, and as you can see, I've got it on this beautiful new leather one piece from Wrist Candy Watch Club. We'll get into that in just a second. Really enjoying this one. And on the other wrist, I've got the new Orient Mako II. Now, I am indeed pulling a Schwarzkopf. The reason is merely because actually out of necessity, I need to test out this before I give my thoughts and opinions. You know, I can't talk about something unless I've tried it. And obviously, you know, I need to get an idea of this. So I've been wearing this setup for the last couple of days. Really enjoying the Orient 2. We're going to discuss this in just a moment. Now, you would have probably been expecting a live show. We've postponed it until next week. I simply have, as you can see, a backlog. I've got a queue forming of watches to review. I'm very behind in my reviews. Those of you who have sent in watches, please bear with me. I do apologize. I'm going to try and knuckle down and get as many done as I can in the next few weeks, but the live show will be returning Friday with the Right Honourable Grobnob, of course, and I'm really enjoying them. I think they're fantastic. They bring in different kind of, you know, less formal, kind of more playful, easygoing way for you guys to pose your questions and for us to answer them. Grobnob, of course, is hugely knowledgeable, fantastic knowledge of watches and horology. Quite surprising for such a small furry little creature from East London, but that will be returning Friday. Now I really needed to get some of this stuff talked about, and so I'm gonna get started in this particular video. The other thing is, as well, is to point out, I've noticed a lot of the same questions coming in each week. Guys, one particular question that gets asked almost every single time: best automatics under $500, this kind of thing. Guys, have a look back in the archives before you send in your questions. You know, 9 times out of 10, we've either discussed it in a previous Ask the Governor, or there's a video addressing it. So before you ask your questions, please look back and have a look at the archives. I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 we would have discussed it at some point, but of course we will be answering more of your questions as soon as we can in a live show returning Friday. But without further ado, we've got a lot of straps and the new Orient 2 to discuss, so let's switch perspectives now and get into that right now. Today we have a whole plethora of horological wristwatch goodies to share. Now, in a moment we're going to be looking at the new Mako Orient 2 and the kind of upgrades, some fantastic new strap and bracelet options, and a cheeky little kind of addition to the F91W, something I kind of did myself, which we'll get into in just a moment. But anyway, we'll start from left to right, and the first thing you'll notice is my stunning Breitling Navi timer on this beautiful tan strap. Now, as you can see, by the way, I have been wearing this, really been enjoying this. These 4 are some new, very high quality, handmade one-piece leather straps from Wrist Candy Watch Club. As you see the stamp there, beautifully stitched, really nicely put together. These, I absolutely adore the quality they put into their work. You guys know I'm a big fan of them. Everything they do just comes out fantastically well. Now, these particular ones are specifically for the smaller wrist. They come in 2 sizes, 22 as you see here, perfect for a Navi timer, which has the 22mm lug width, and the 24mm size as well. Now, these are about 2mm thick, so they're not that thick, at the same time not too thin. Quality is outstanding. So far they've got these 4 colors, so we've got this beautiful kind of rich royal blue, we've got a nice chocolatey brown there, and 2 kind of tanned colors. I must admit, I'm not a fan of tanned colors, but I saw somebody post a Navi timer blue face like mine on one, and I thought it looked terrific, so I had to do it myself. Now, the first thing you know is that when I opened the box, when these arrived, the first thing that hit me was that they smelled like I got new shoes, with a fantastic smell of leather. The handmade quality that goes into their products really is there. My only slight criticism, I'm not too fond of the buckle. You know, I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more refined to reflect the one piece, but very minor
critique there. So they've done a limited amount, so a little bit special, I guess. Obviously, if demand justifies it, they'll make more. They're about 10.5 inches long in length. So specifically for the smaller wrist, and I love the choice of colors. I'm quite taken by this sandy kind of pale tanned, but having said that, I think the blue really works with this particular one, and perfect for something like a busy dial like this. You want to dress it down, make it a little bit more casual. I think it really works. And these are going for about $45. I'll include a link down below to Risk County Watch Club. And I think definitely worth the money. The quality definitely is there. My only critique obviously is the buckle. I think the buckle could be slightly improved. But then again, you could always fit your own buckle. That's the beautiful thing about this. So if you really don't like it, you could even put a Breitling buckle if you really wanted to make it all match. Anyway, moving on. What's next? Well, we have this fantastic bracelet from Marathon. Now, Marathon, as you guys know, they make this is the mid-size TSAR automatic diving watch. Really fantastic diving watch for the money. Marathon are a company with incredible history making watches for militaries all over the world, and they also have these beautiful matted, I'd say it's almost like an oyster bracelet, really beautifully made. The finishing on these is absolutely incredible. We have a high polish on the signed fold over, and then this is the best thing. I went for the American Great Seal, as you can see there. So this is the US Great Seal. Obviously this is the 18mm version to fit the mid-size, but you can get it in the relative sizes for the jumbo and the regular 40mm diameter Marathon, the GSAR. Now these are quite expensive. This is about $179 for these bracelets, but the quality, the finishing is absolutely impeccable. The screws, which you see here, let me just make sure the focus is working. The screws are what they call superior floating double screw link system. While it's extremely robust, and you can understand because they're designing it for military use, it's got to be the most reliable and robust they can possibly make it. The only downside of these things is it's a real pain to size, which is a bit of a shame. However, the quality, solid end links, obviously, the quality is impeccable. Also the clasp, I mean, you're paying this much money to expect, a push button deployment. It has got diver extension, and if you do look at the finishing of, the stamped metal here, it is really good. I mean, this puts some of the quality of some luxury brands to shame, that it's that good. But it's just a little standard fold over. That's a little bit of a disappointment. But however, you're paying for the high quality of the bracelet itself and this beautiful engraving. Look how it tapers. It's probably more apparent there's a good shot of the tapering. It's probably more apparent in the slightly thicker ones. So you get 14 links, individual links. Just look at the quality of that. Look at the quality of the engraving. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So let me just go over the options. You can get this one, which is the US Great Seal. They also have the Canadian Armed Forces, the maple leaf, also the US Marine Corps emblem, and I believe it's the Dudeven, the elite Israeli paratroopers. I'm not quite sure if that's correct, but do correct me if I'm wrong, but they also do supply timepieces for the Israeli paratroopers. That's very cool indeed. And the same goes with their watches. You can actually get the watches with US government or whatever on the dial, which is really cool. But absolutely stunning quality. A little bit expensive in my opinion, but you get what you pay for, and it's very unique. I mean, nobody else in the world offers this bracelets, especially to this level of finishing. Absolutely stunning. They come in these nondescript military boxes. It's quite charming, really. They're just no nonsense, and you can pick them up at marathonwatches.com, and I'll include a link down below. Make sure you get the right lug width to match your watch. Anyway, moving on, we got another little pickup I discovered on eBay, and this is from a company called Milan Watch Bands, and you can order directly from them here, or you could just search for them on eBay. I was just looking for an ostrich, I found this for, and as you can tell, I have been wearing it. I found this for about $24, an absolute bargain. Even signed the buckle there with M for Milano. Beautiful quality. I mean, the stitching, all fatto a mano, so all handmade, genuine leather. There's the company name, Morellato, from Milan. For a gold watch, or a watch with gold in it like this, or like my day date here, you really want something a little bit lively to play off the gold colours, and this really did it. And in fact, I was going to add my Rolex buckle that I got aftermarket to match the Rolex crown and the Tudor by Rolex, or whatever they used to say, to match, but actually this little buckle is so sweet. It works beautifully well. The leather, absolutely fantastic quality, and for $24 you really can't argue. You can find these on eBay, just really great quality. This was the 20mm to fit these particular lugs, and you know, it takes a little bit of wearing in, but after a while it wears beautifully, and just perfect to have fun with a dress watch. Bring a bit of extra pizzazz with that color. Now I'm not aware what other colors they offer. This was just a one-off, a pickup that I discovered and just worked out really, really well. Now moving on, the Casio. Now this is actually a NATO strap I got for Christmas back in the UK, and I think it's from Zulu Diver. I'm not particularly sure where this is from. It might be Watch Gecko, I can't remember, but anyway, it doesn't matter. This is because I'm actually showing you the customization of my F91. Now I got the idea of a really cool picture I found when I was researching the review of this. Go back and check it out. It was quite an interesting video about Casio I did. Now this is an 18mm NATO strap, and it's quite important you get an 18mm one, because the space here is only going to take 18mm. It becomes a totally different watch, and this is great for Schwarzkopfing, if we're having a second timepiece. It's really comfortable, especially because this is so light, and it's really fun. It's I mean, it's so cool. And of course this works with all kinds of different straps because of the colors, but I just thought something very, very fun, and a kind of bit of a play on its cheeky, controversial terrorist connotations with this watch, you know, the Bin Laden Casio, or whatever it's been called. So I thought I'd just have some fun, and I'm really enjoying this, and I wear this a lot as a second timepiece just because it's so light, but very fun all the same. And I just think it's a really cool thing to customize your Casio like this. Okay, moving on now, the Mako Orient II. So I've been sent in by Long Island Watches. Quick shout out to Long Island Watches. They've currently got these on sale, I think for about $180, which is an absolute bargain. Now they both come on the bracelets. The bracelet, I got to be honest, you guys always complain that I take things off the bracelet. Well, I do for a specific reason, because I don't like the bracelets. I think the bracelets, I've got to be honest, they're kind of cheap and a little bit, you know, yeah, it's just the standard thing. It has got pushers though, and it's signed, and it's, you know, it's just pins there, and you've got polished bits in the center, blah blah blah. It's nothing we ain't seen before. Unfortunately, the bracelets have hollow end links, which is a no-no in my book. I really don't like hollow end links, but this is a diver watch for less than $200. You cannot expect the perfect watch for less than $200. So we've got the black, the reference number is FAA02001B9, which is the black one here, and then the blue reference number is FAA02005D9. Now I've got to say immediately, my first reaction is just slide this off. I haven't fitted the bracelet. I've got to send this back, so I can't really wear this, but I just quickly borrowed it just to give you a quick look what the differences are. Now the upgrades are exactly the same, so before we get into talking about the upgrades, I just wanted to show you the difference between the black version and the blue. If you notice, the black, the hands are different, and also the markers. The blue has got a round applied luminescent markers, whereas the black has sticks and then a 12, 9 and 6. This is a little bit more explorer-esque, if you will, while this is kind of more like a subby. The arrow hand on the blue has applied lume, whereas the arrow hand on the black one does not. Also, it has these kind of sword-like hands for the hour and minutes, whereas this one has these kind of weird, I don't know why the hour hand reminds me of Transformers. I don't know why. It just does. Oh, and I've just noticed the bezel as well. They've got different fonts on the bezel. The blue has a kind of more futuristic numerals, whereas the black, I quite like the black actually. It's quite understated. Well, I don't know. They're both really cool. So the loom is obviously different, and let's quickly have a look at the loom shot right now. And as you can see, fantastic loom. The one on the left is the blue, and the one on the right is the black. I think the blue wins, mainly because it's just such huge applied loom. It's a lot thicker applied, also the hands are thicker, but I've got to say they're both really excellent, very evenly applied. It beats a lot of the mid-range divers, which is quite incredible, but the Japanese really do loom very well. They always do. Anyway, let's take it back to the studio. Okay, welcome back, guys. So as you can see, at first glance they seem to be quite similar, but quite dramatically different because of the different loom layout. Obviously the color's different, but you know, need I even say that? Everything else though, the case, the new movement, all the upgrades are exactly the same. So let's quickly just go over that. So now we have a new movement. This is the F69 movement, and if we undo the screw down crown, one of the biggest upgrades is that it is windable, and it's got a really quite nice action to it. Surprisingly refined for a watch of this, you know, entry level. So we got screw down crown, they're both the same in that regard. Signed case back there with a beautiful little Orient logo on the crown, signed crown. And not only that, so it's hand wind, it's also hackable. So if we pull out all the way, you'll see the seconds has stopped, so it's hackable as well. Now when you do pull it out all the way, there is a little bit of wiggle, but you know, again, this is a $200 watch. You can't expect heaven and earth for $200. You really can't. So it's a 22 jewel movement. We have I think it's a 42-hour power reserve. I might be wrong about that, but guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So completely in-house, and this is another marvel from the guys at Orient. What else is new? Well, they've upgraded the bezel. This time we have a 120 click, and it's extremely solid, certainly better than an SKX bezel. Rather difficult to do with gloves on, I must admit, but very accurate. Unidirectional, obviously, really beautiful color. I just love this blue. It's luscious, it's dark, it's rich. We've got that sunburst effect there. Really nice blue. It's gorgeous, I can't deny. Now another thing you'll notice is also they've got rid of the pusher at the 2 o'clock, and I think it's vastly superior. Much cleaner look, much more kind of, you know, grown up. Doesn't have that. I just think it didn't belong there. So everything is now done by that single crown there. Also the polishing and finish seems a lot better. It's a lot crispier, really nicely done, the high polish. I mean, for a $200 watch, I'm quite astounded by the high level of quality. But it is a new movement, so will it stand the test of time? Will it be as enduring and as reliable 10 years from now as the SKX has proven? So that's, you know, these are all things to really keep in mind. Now, the Orient Mako USA, which I also reviewed quite recently, they've upgraded the sapphire. This is still mineral glass, but it sits much better than the Orient USA. The sapphire in the Orient USA kind of was sunken, and the bezel was actually protruding, whereas this is kind of runs flush. Vastly better alignment of the glass and the bezel. The mineral glass is a bit of a negative, but again, I say this is a $200 watch. You can't expect heaven and earth and perfection for $200. You're already getting so much for your money here. The only other negative I can say is obviously the hollow end links. We're starting to see watches at this price range with solid end links, so it's a shame Orient can't just put that little bit of extra metal in there, because actually the bracelet's not too bad. I'm not a fan of it. I just don't like this look. You know, if I'm gonna go for a bracelet, I would almost buy one of these in a 20mm. Oh no, this is a 22, right? Yeah, buy one of these in a 22 and see if it would fit this. So let's quickly do dimensions while we're at it. Now I must point out this is covered in sellotape, so it's not going to harm the watch. Diameter there of about 41, thickness of just under 13. Lug to lug we're looking at just under 47, and then of course a lug width of 22. The size is absolutely perfect for smaller and larger wrists. You know, we're in Rolex Submariner territory. In fact, let me just put a wrist shot. As you can see, for the smaller wrist, it wears fantastically. Now it's quite slender, doesn't curve that much, but because it's not that big, it's not an issue. For a small tiny wrist like me, it wears beautifully, very, very comfortable. I think actually the crown is slightly smaller as well. Not only have they got rid of that 2 o'clock crown, but I think they made this smaller. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. My only critique about the size is they should have made the lug width 20 instead of 22. I think it doesn't look so overpowering, but you know, the bracelet, especially when you have it on the bracelet, I think 20 would have been a little bit more kind of refined looking. They do this a lot with entry-level watches. They make the lug width too big, and I just think it would have been a bit more elegant had it been 20. That's, you know, a very minor thing. Having said that, it wears beautifully on this 22mm. This is also from Wrist Candy Watch Club, by the way. Beautiful. I love their early Nato straps, really soft and supple. Let's just quickly have a real close-up of the dial. 200 meters, lovely framed day and date there. And of course we've got the Orient heraldry at 12 o'clock. Beautiful, beautifully done. That inner bezel with the minute markings running around the outside. Let's just quickly look at the black as well. The black is completely matte. That's another difference I neglected to say, thank God I remembered. But yeah, the black is definitely a lot more understated, a lot more kind of tooly, as we say. But yeah, absolutely great stuff, guys. I can't recommend this enough. They've taken a really great watch and made it even better. Absolute pure class. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you like my little selection. There's a bit of something for everybody and all budgets. Let's take it back to the studio. Before I go, just want to kind of give my quick thoughts on the Orient and how it compares. Obviously, we can't make this video without mentioning the SKX. Is it gonna steal the crown off the SKX in this price range? Now, I personally don't think so, and I'll give you my reason. Even though, you know, it's got the hacking movement and manual wind and all the rest of it, and these fantastic and a very refined case, I must admit, and probably the finishing is as good or better than the SKX. However, the SKX, as we discussed in last week's video, I think it was last week or the week before, it's a cult iconic watch. It's been decades and decades in the making. You know, that movement really has been proven to go for decades without servicing. This is a new movement, so we've still got to see, you know, will it stand the test of time? I could tell you from wearing it, and this is why I've been Schwarzkopfing, especially with these two, is because, you know, I want to try out this new strap. Also, I've got to test out the watches so I know what I'm talking about. You know, I'm not one of these channels that talks about watches and they're not even in the video. You know, I actually handle all the watches I talk about. So this is another example. Now guys, you don't have to wear 2 watches, okay? You do not have to wear 2 watches. I simply do it because I've got to maximize my time. You know, I've got to test this strap out and I've got to test this watch out. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The accuracy is absolutely fantastic. It's running about 7-8 seconds fast, which I think is great for a watch. You know, let's be honest, you know, for a watch this price range, it is fantastic. I don't think it's going to take the crown off the SKX anytime soon. It's going to take decades to prove itself. Also, this movement is new, even though it's in-house and all the rest of it with the upgrades. It's still new. Will it be as reliable? I guess time will tell. Also, the other thing is to bear in mind, the SKX at the end of the day still is an ISO certified diver. This is not. I'm not saying you can't go diving with this. I think actually as a diving watch it will
do a great job. However, you know, the SKX is that cult iconic diver watch. It's a real diver watch. It's a lot more tooly than this. This is actually quite refined, quite a bit of a pretty boy actually, especially with that beautiful sunburst. Anyway, you've seen it in the review. So to me, the SKX is still king, but this is definitely a very strong, affordable option under $200. I'll leave the links down below. Guys, if you've got one of these, please let me know what you think. How is it working out for you? You know, do you prefer it over the SKX? Your thoughts, queries, questions, all the rest of it, please down in the comments below. Always love hearing what you guys have to say. So I think that's pretty much all the points covered. If I missed anything out, please remind me in the comments. Anyway guys, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to give this a like if you enjoyed it and found it useful. It really does help me. And as always guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, ciao.